Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Sam,
I'm Ren.
and that's that. I honestly didn't think it would happen this time.
No,
This time I thought for sure.
Don't even say it.
In the month of May for 2025, there wouldn't be any spooky news. I thought that would be the case.
Not a chat. May? That's not spooky. Oh, nothing spooky about May.
Wrong.
What?
We've got spooky news.
No way.
Yeah.
We got a lot of spooky news.
A little bit. It's a special episode this month because we've got a couple of special request topics at the end.
Ooh.
So we'll go through the news as per usual. But then at the end, there's two that I've gone into a bit more depth with as far as research, and then we're going to have a talk about them.
Sounds good.
Okay. We might as well just get into it, shall we?
Crack on, love. Crack on.
No point messing about.
No.
Okay, so as you know, we do the big three.
Yeah.
Which consists of ghosts, UFOs, and cryptozoology.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start with ghosts.
Ooh! We've got ghost stories.
We've got one or two ghost stories, yes. Here's the first one. The headline is, Russian tourist leaps to death fleeing ghost in Pattaya.
Starting on a bit of a somber note, aren't we?
Bit of an odd one. The source for this is some site called Tiger.
Rar.
But it's Thaiger.
Oh.
Because it's Thailand.
Right.
Tiger.
Got you.
Interesting. So this is how the story goes.
Okay.
A Russian tourist high on marijuana plunged to his death from a Pattaya condo after telling a security guard he was being hunted by a murderous ghost with bulging eyes. The 27-year-old man, named only as Mikhail, had been smoking heavily when he became convinced a phantom was trying to murder him. He ran frantically around the building before leaping from the 9th floor in the early hours of the morning on the 22nd of May. The horrifying scene unfolded at a condominium in the Yomtian area of Pattaya, Chonburi province. I don't know how to pronounce any of these.
That's all right.
Just before midnight. Police and rescue teams rushed to the site after receiving a report of a man falling from height. There, next to Building B, they discovered Mikhail's body in a pool of blood. Officers cordoned off the area and covered the scene with a white sheet. In the dead man's room, police found marijuana, smoking paraphernalia, and no signs of a struggle, ruling out any foul play. Shaken security guard told the police about the Russian's hallucinations. Quote, "He was completely out of it. He kept saying a ghost with bulging eyes was chasing him and trying to kill him. He was terrified, running up and down the building like a madman." One resident also reported hearing chilling screams moments before the fall. Matichan? I don't know what that is. They reported he was yelling in this awful voice. It was like something out of a horror film, but until today he'd seemed totally normal. Mikhail's father, who is believed to have a habit of smoking cannabis, had reportedly been staying with him, though he was not present during the incident. Deputy Inspector Police Lieutenant Kriankray Fipop. That's the best you're getting out of me. Confirmed.
Smith, yeah.
We found no evidence of an altercation or break-in. Marijuana and smoking equipment were present. It appears the victim was hallucinating and jumped voluntarily. Mikhail's body has been sent for autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. Okay, so that's the story, right?
Right.
My first thought was...
The ghost did actually get him.
Well, my first thought was that seems a bit extreme for someone's just smoking some weed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
So I was like, oh, maybe the reason they're blaming it on the weed is like maybe Thailand has a particularly, the sort of cultural view of marijuana is like particularly bad. So I had a look, and that doesn't seem to be the case.
All right.
Marijuana was decriminalized in Thailand in June 2022.
Oh.
Cannabis extracts and products are officially limited to 0.2% THC content. Only medicinal use is legal, but in practice there is a wide recreational usage.
Right.
So it seems like that's not really the case.
Yeah.
People using it anyway, but this guy, considering it's been legalized, presumably this guy was using it legally, and at that point it's got 0.2% THC content, which sounds pretty low.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So my thoughts is like I'm not convinced, despite what they seem to be saying, the marijuana is to blame.
No, absolutely not.
But having said that, it doesn't seem that they'd be blaming it because there's a cultural reputation in the country of marijuana being particularly bad. So I'm not quite sure what to blame. But I'm not ruling out this bulging eye ghost.
That's what I'm saying,
As
right?
of right now,
People think he died because he was fleeing the ghost. What if that's what the ghost wanted him to think?
Maybe.
They got to him. They was trying to kill him and he succeeded.
other people in the building said he seemed absolutely fine until that day. Okay. So there's chances that he was smoking before that day as well. But only on that day was he bad. Then there's the screams they heard, which we would assume are from him before he fell. But were they?
Oh. We'll never know. And we don't know what else about this guy.
Nope. Just some Russian tourist, as far as we can see.
Bit spooky, that, innit?
It's a bit weird, that. Yeah, there's not really any more information, but I just thought, like, obviously, maybe he had some other drugs in his system. And this seems to be pre-autopsy, because this is like the day after.
Yeah.
So maybe there is some other, but at the moment, all this article seems to be hinting, it's because he was smoking marijuana, and I'm like, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
So until we find out more, I'm not ruling it out.
I'm not ruling it out.
No, I wouldn't.
No.
So that's pretty nuts.
Unfortunate, but yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. It just doesn't all quite add up, does it? Anything else to say that before we move on?
I think the ghost done it.
Makes sense. Okay, let's story 2. This one is titled "Woman Saw Ghost on Ryanair Flight and He Saluted Her."
That's nice.
Yeah. The source for this one is Wales Online. Here goes the story. A woman says she saw a ghost on a Ryanair flight and he saluted her to let her know he could see her as well. Chloe Smith says she is visited by ghosts almost every day, and the 27-year-old claims spirits have locked eyes with her by the pool and spotted her in airports. And one ghostly presence even sat near her on a Ryanair flight. Chloe said, quote, "I was sitting on the plane on the way to France and I started looking around the aircraft. Then I saw it, a ghost sitting next to a gentleman, just 5 rows in front. He looked back at me, knowing I could make the connection, but instead of using my body as a channel like a spirit usually does, he funnily saluted me, giving me respect, but also confirming that he knew I could see him. Maybe he was there for a nervous family member, or he could have been an old pilot who flew that exact plane. It was very magical. I didn't tell my brother. He would have thought I was being strange, as always. You get goosebumps, but also a sense of peace." That's literally it.
I tell you what, if I could see ghosts and spirits, I would. Oh, I'd be so screwed, Sam, because I would I've got a special skill, and it's accidentally locking eyes with people.
Yeah, you'd be looking at them all the time.
Or no, people think I've been looking at them, but I just happen to lock eyes with them the moment they look my way. But to them, it seems like I've just been staring at them the whole time. I ain't staring at no one. I just can sense it, and I'm like,
I think that's a normal human experience.
yeah, well, I don't want to be locking eyes with ghosts, and I would not be able to play it off like I didn't see them.
But you work from home now, so you don't have that problem so much.
Yeah, that's true. I don't even lock eyes with anyone. That's not muffling the mic, is it?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay. I was worried for the listeners.
I listened in the recording test.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
okay.
It sounded fine.
Just making sure.
Unless something's radically different this time.
It might be haunted this time.
Well, back to the story.
Yeah.
Do you believe this woman?
Sure. I mean,
Because she says she sees ghosts every day of her life.
Yeah.
Now, is it...
You know who else says that?
Who?
Me dad.
True.
Shout out, Alan. You listening? Hey up, Dad. You all right?
I thought he said he didn't listen.
No, that's the joke.
So the thing is, either she has some kind of special ability that the rest of us don't have.
She's heavily medicated like my dad.
Or she's lying.
No, people don't lie. If it's on the internet, it's not a lie.
Why would she lie so much, though?
What benefit does she have from lying about it?
I don't know. The attention?
Oh, shit, yeah. People like that, don't they?
That's what I've heard.
Not us. We don't want attention. We don't do anything on the internet. Imagine sitting recording
we don't post
ourselves.
things for attention.
No, we do this to let people know of the spooky news.
This is the news.
This is for you, not for us.
This is important.
I'm gonna go ahead and believe her.
All right. You think
Because why not? What was her name again?
Chloe?
Chloe.
I think. Hold on, let me double check.
I thought it was Lucy.
Yeah, it could have been. I might have got it wrong. No, it's Chloe.
It's Chloe. Chloe what?
Oh, you want the second name?
Oh, is that too much? I'm sorry.
Smith.
Oh, that's unique. Right, Chloe Smith. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and I believe you do see little ghosty poos. I feel like... I don't know actually now, because, like, why would it salute you to acknowledge that it's seen you? Of course it's fucking seen you. It's seeing everyone. If I were that ghost, I'd be like, hang on a minute, you can see me. Like, yo. I need to tell you something. You need to go find this person and go tell him this.
What if it didn't see her at all? It was saluting another
to the person
ghost,
behind
another
her.
Ghost behind her, and she's just like, oh, thanks. And then she looks a fool.
Oh,
she looks a complete fool then.
Awkward. Like that guy in the gym when I were waving at you and he was between us and he thought I was waving at him. And he's like, I can't wave back. I'm working out. And
you looked such a fool.
I didn't look a fool. He looked a fool.
You both looked fools. Me, not a fool.
Yeah, because you were just behind him blanking me anyway.
Anyway.
Oh, that was spooky, wasn't it? Sorry.
Shall we move on?
I've just eaten. I've got too much energy now.
We've got another
ghost.
Another ghost story.
Go on then.
The title of this story is Officials Confirm Haunted Annabelle Doll's Whereabouts After Missing Rumours Go Viral.
Wait, she went missing?
That was the rumour.
When did this go viral? I missed it.
Well, if you give me a minute, I'll tell you about the story.
Sorry, I am jumping the gun. I thought the story was about it turning up again. Was that not what you just read?
I'm going to read the story.
Read that headline again. I've missed what you
I'm going to read the story and you just learn as we go.
Shut up and listen. I'm yapping too much this episode.
The source for this one is The Independent. Here we go. Museum officials have spoken out about the real-life Annabelle doll's whereabouts amid rumours that she's gone missing. The demonically possessed Raggedy Ann doll, which has become a classic fixture in the horror genre, is rumoured to have escaped her casing as she travelled around the country on the Devils on the Run tour hosted by the New England Society for Psychic Research.
She went on tour?
She went on tour.
Oh, good for you, Anne.
Wait.
What?
Yeah, Anne. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's Annabelle, innit?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy Annabelle.
You don't know her like I do. I've seen her on tour, you know what I mean?
In early May, the doll typically housed at NESPR, that's that thing I just said.
Yeah.
Oh, let me go back. New England Society for Psychic Research.
That thing I just said, yeah.
Usually housed at their Warren's Occult Museum, founded by paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Shut up.
Made a tour stop in New Orleans. Unfounded conjectures that she had somehow gone missing while in Louisiana began to circulate online after some visitors claimed they didn't see the doll during a tour.
Was it because they were expecting the Annabelle doll from the films and not a Raggedy Ann doll?
That's possible.
There you go.
Meanwhile, a recent fire at the nearby Nottoway Plantation turned Nottoway Resort in White Castle intensified speculation that there was somehow a connection between Annabelle's supposed disappearance and the blaze. NESPR lead investigator Dan Riviera debunked theories that the doll had gone missing in a TikTok video posted Saturday. He says, "I'm here at the museum right now." And
Right now. Go on.
I'm here at the museum right now, and I just want to show you guys that Annabelle is in the Warren's Occult Museum, Riviera said. Let's go inside and let's check. After entering the museum, he walked over to show the doll sitting in a wooden case. Right. Annabelle is not missing. She's not in Chicago, he assured fans, sharing that they were, however, going to be at the 2025 Rock Island Roadhouse Esoteric Expo in Rock Island, Illinois, on the 4th of October. This isn't the first time the doll's supposed disappearance has sparked widespread panic online. In 2020, Tony Spira, the son-in-law of Ed and Lorraine Warren, was forced to clear up rumours that she had escaped her enclosure.
Who is starting these rumours?
People.
It's like where she's held. Is it like a museum? Did you say? It's like somewhere you can visit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You seen it in the movie? That room?
I know. I've
Yeah.
seen that room. It's in their house.
I don't know.
Anyway.
He said when he was cleaning up these rumours back in whatever it was, 2020 or whatever, I'm here to tell you something, he said on the family's YouTube channel at the time. I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but Annabelle did not escape. The Annabelle doll was first owned by a student who, in 1970, called upon the Warrens when she claimed Annabelle started exhibiting malicious and frightening behaviour. Upon inspection, the Warrens claimed that the doll was demonically possessed by the spirit of a deceased girl. That's the story.
Right.
So I tried to look into the supposed link between this plantation fire and Annabelle going missing and see if there's anything more than just they were in a similar place at a similar time.
Yeah.
There is nothing more to it.
Well.
So I guess some people either went to the tour, didn't see the one from the movies, thought, oh, she's gone, or just happened to miss her and thought, oh, she's gone, she's escaped. And then coincidentally, this plantation fire happened at the same time. I'm not ruling out the possibility that she did escape and came back before they noticed.
Yeah.
But
Hey, that would be a good film for the Conjuring universe. Annabelle's Little Adventure, going and starting a fire.
I mean, I don't know how much more they can do with Annabelle. They've done like 4 of them.
Yeah, and this one would be fun. You know, like they do them sort of films where they're like, I don't know, like Toy Story or something, where they get lost and they've got to try and make their way back home. Do one of them.
An emotional
yeah,
journey.
Just a good fun one. But with Annabelle, just having an exploration. I want to know, they probably don't tour in the UK, do they?
No.
With this
It'll be a US
silly
only
little
thing.
tour. Gutted.
Gutted.
I see Annabelle.
Are you
on
scared
tour.
of Annabelle potentially escaping?
No, I'd actually root for her. You go, girl.
Do you
Get
think
out
she's
there.
demonically possessed?
If she wants to be. I don't know. I think it's quite sad that she's just locked up. But she does do some bad stuff, doesn't she, I guess?
Supposedly.
I
Right.
don't know, Sam, but I believe she did have a little walkabout there because she's probably bored sat in that little case.
Yeah, well, she's on tour though, so
That's a good, yeah, well, while you're on tour, you know, mess about on tour, you know. What happens on tour stays on tour, you know what I mean?
well, not it's on the internet.
Oh, shit, I forgot about
Yeah.
the internet. Anyway, stop copying my words.
Shall we move on, or have you got something else
My
to say?
original words. I don't have much else to say, but no.
Very cool. Right. This, I think, is the last ghost story, if I remember correctly.
Aww.
Here's what it's called. CCTV footage captures mysterious...
Did you just buffer?
CCTV footage...
Why did you say CC?
I do what I want. CCTV footage captures mysterious flooding at Titanic exhibit with history of paranormal activity. Intriguing. Did you listen to that headline? Should I say it again?
Yeah, one more time.
CCTV footage captures mysterious flooding at Titanic exhibit with history of paranormal activity.
Ooh.
Did you listen to it this
I
time?
listened to
Yeah.
it that time, yeah.
The source for this one is a site called Two Oceans Vibe.
Not 1, 2. The number 2, or like
Yeah, the number 2.
2 oceans.
No, the number 2.
Like,
I think it's something to do with it's situated in a place where 2 oceans meet.
in a kiss.
Maybe.
Anyway, crack on, love.
Here's the story. Surveillance footage has captured a gush of water flooding a Titanic exhibit near Chicago. I don't know if oceans meet near is Chicago on anywhere near the coast? Probably not, right?
I don't know.
I don't think it is. But I also don't know and don't care. Mystifying museum officials who say they couldn't find roof leaks, burst pipes, or anything that could have caused the flooding during their inspection.
Wait, so it actually flooded?
Yeah, actually flooded.
Right.
Footage of the ghostly flooding was shared on local news outlets, showing a large amount of water suddenly flooding the room where several artifacts from the doomed Titanic were displayed.
Wait, so it's ghostly flooding because they don't know where the water's come from?
There is no explanation for the water.
Right. I
The-
thought
the-
it was
the- this-
imaginary. I thought like someone was seeing a vision
No,
of water.
but
But
this
there
other-
is actually water.
Yeah, and this place has had other reports of hauntings.
Spookies.
and ghost activity.
Spookies.
And obviously, being that it's a Titanic and the Titanic sunk, the water could be relevant. According to the museum, this is not the first time the exhibit has experienced paranormal activity. See, Volo Museum Director Jim Wojtyla
Jim Smith, yep.
told News Today, "I'm not a huge ghost guy, but when all this happens, I mean, we're looking, but there's no cracks, no holes, there are no broken pipes, the ceiling is fine, everything around the building is totally fine." For decades, many visitors, employees and residents of the property have reported experiencing unexplainable occurrences, with the flooding of the Titanic exhibit being the latest mystery. Over the years, museum visitors have reported seeing a young boy staring at them from outside the window on the 4th floor. Others claim to have seen bottles floating in the air and images of a soldier roaming the halls. Paranormal show Ghost Lab visited the site in 2009 and claimed to have filmed a shadowy figure sitting on some furniture. At the time, the show prompted more guests, workers, and the family to come forward with ghost stories, and since then, visitors have sent in photos and stories about creepy experiences, including stories of white dogs walking through mirrors, dolls found in strange places, and a boy peering through the 4th floor window from the outside. The museum owner, Brian Grams, told the media that he thinks the ghosts like the Volo because of the antiques. We're sure the museum also likes the ghosts because of publicity. And we do have a link to the video of the flooding.
Ooh.
So let's take a cheeky little look at this video.
I'm ready. My eyes are ready.
As per usual, I'll put this in the
Little
description so you guys can have a look at it too.
Oh,
advert. We don't want the advert. Blah, blah, blah. No adverts, please. Blah, blah, blah.
Boo.
Skip advert. Skip. There we go. There's the Titanic car.
Not the one that got steamed up in the film.
Don't know. And look at all the water just coming out of nowhere. It looks like it comes from the ground there.
I've got a theory.
Watch it. Look at it. Spreading rather rapidly.
Whoa.
Yeah. Be a nightmare trying to fix that. Especially when you don't know where it's come from.
No way.
What do you think of that?
I think I know where this water's come from.
Where do you think it's come from?
Did they check for a tipped over Sports Direct mug?
I reckon they probably did actually.
They were like,
I
wait,
think they
hang
looked
on a minute.
specifically
The
for
amount
that.
of water that's here
So,
probs what's in a Sports Direct
Yeah.
mug.
but all seriousness,
I'm being serious.
they're saying they've checked the roof, they've checked the pipes. There's no indication of any kind of leak anywhere. I didn't write this on here, but I'm pretty sure if I remember reading a comment, could be a lie because it's a comment.
It's the internet.
One of the comments did say that there was a storm that day. So, it somehow it could have come, but that's a lot of water to suddenly spread.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like water coming in from the rain. That looks like water coming in like from a burst pipe or something. That's what it
Yeah.
looks like. But they're saying they've checked the pipes and there are no bursts, which does make that a bit weird because that spread rapid. That there was a lot of water there quickly.
Yeah. Don't know, Sam. That is spooky.
Yeah.
Especially with all the other spookiness that goes on at that place.
Yeah, considering there's a lot of ghost activity reported, and they do have antiques from the Titanic in there, the Titanic car. I don't know. I'm just saying, this is one of those weird ones where there's no good explanation for it, at least as of yet.
It'd be even spookier if all the water just disappeared.
We may have a genuine ghost flood on our hands.
A
here.
ghost flood.
A ghost
Ooh,
flood.
That is unsettling.
You don't want that, do you? It scares you.
No, it does scare
It
me.
does scare you.
Chilling my bones.
So those are the ghost
Ghost
stories
stories.
for May 2025. I hope you are terrified. Ah!
Ah!
Exactly.
Anyway.
You got anything else?
Time.
I assume you got nothing else to say about this Titanic story?
No, that wasn't as exciting as the others. Although I wouldn't.
Wasn't it? I think it was probably the most interesting one.
It's come from somewhere on it. It's not ghost water.
I think one of the stories was just some woman claiming she seen a ghost.
If it weren't the Titanic stuff, it wouldn't even be reported.
The other two stories, things definitely happened, but there's no good explanation as of yet of how those things happened. Which I think is, you don't get that often. We often read stories but it's not. It's rare that something tangible has happened that you can't explain.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's
Usually it's
true.
just someone's claim or something.
I get what you're saying.
So I think they're both quite interesting this month.
I'm all for Annabelle on tour, me.
But let's
Move on to
Oh yeah, the Annabelle.
oh.
There was 4, weren't there? Ignore Annabelle anyway. Anyway, let's
Was
move
there
on to
4?
UFOs.
Wow, we're doing so well. We've forgotten what we talked about already.
I know.
Anyway,
But
UFOs.
it's on recording now, so we don't need to know. You know what I'm saying?
They know.
They know.
They'll be like, guys, it was definitely 4. You did this one, this one, this one, and this one.
So let's move on to the UFO stories.
And this one. I think I only
Here's
said
the
3.
first one. The title is Mysterious UFO Base Uncovered by CIA Becomes New US Alien Hotspot. The source is the Mail Online.
Okay.
A UFO base mentioned in a declassified CIA document has fueled a surge in sightings, turning Mount Hayes into one of America's top alien hotspots. Raising over 8,000 feet, Mount Hayes sits within the so-called Alaska Triangle. If you remember that from the other month.
I do.
Yes. Like the Bermuda Triangle, but in
Yeah,
Alaska.
Yeah.
A lot of people going missing there. Notable people as well.
Ooh.
A region notorious for unexplained disappearances and paranormal activity.
Mm-hmm.
However, the CIA has never confirmed the alien base, and the US government's stance is that extraterrestrial life does not exist. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate. I don't think the US government's official stance is that there is no extraterrestrial life at all. I think their official stance is that we've had no interaction with them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We don't even know about them. But I don't think their official stance is that within the vast expanse of the universe that there is no other life.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, you get the idea anyway. Locals have reported streaks of coloured lights, orbs travelling at high speed, and mysterious vanishing people.
Vanishing people?
That's what it says.
Is it? Oh, no, you carry on.
One report came from Jared Augustine, a former security officer who claimed he saw a glowing orb hovering in the night sky near Mount Hayes before it suddenly split into 3. It was a UFO of extraterrestrial origin, Augustine told DMAX UK, adding that he stood frozen, shaking as the bizarre sight unfolded. Theories about alien activity have led the public to scour Google Maps for signs of the secret base. Some conspiracy theories claim there's missing satellite data over Mount Hayes, allegedly to hide the base's location. Wow, that's a big coincidence in a very specific shape, one Reddit user commented, pointing to a rectangular patch seemingly missing from the mountain on Google Maps. Mount Hayes is located within an area known for unexplained disappearances and paranormal activity. Locals have aimed trail cameras at Mount Hayes, hoping to capture proof that the area is a UFO hotspot. In an episode of History Channel's Missing in Alaska, a local resident named Wilbur shared footage he believes showed an alien craft.
Ooh.
The video captured a glowing green light hovering over Mount Hayes. Within seconds, it appeared to vanish behind the mountain. Investigators said the object had hovering capabilities like a helicopter, but could also reverse direction instantly, something no known aircraft can do. Based on its position, the team estimated the object's drop speed to be just over Mach 1, which is the speed of sound.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to mysterious airborne sightings, more than 2,000 people have vanished in the area since the 1970s. While UFOs have been reported in the area for decades, the sightings gained more attention when the CIA declassified its experiments in 2000. The report, titled Description of Personnel Associated ET Bases, detailed a session in which a remote viewer was given unknown targets and asked to describe what they perceived. The remote viewing session was part of the CIA's top-secret Stargate program, which recruited individuals believed to have psychic abilities for military and intelligence purposes during the Cold War. The program began in the early 1970s and officially shut down in 1995 after being deemed scientifically unreliable and operationally ineffective for intelligence gathering. So that's the story.
I got confused.
Apologies for that little noise. I brushed the microphone.
What you done that for?
I'm silly.
You are a silly goose.
So go on.
When you said about the vanishing people or whatever, I thought you meant like people were seeing them people disappear. But you mean like the people that were going
Just
like
gone
missing?
Yeah. I presume so, yeah.
That's me being a silly goose.
It didn't go into a lot of detail, but I'm assuming that's what it
Yeah. I was like, what? Do people just
So-
disappearing in front of other people's eyes?
it looks like the CIA declassified some documents that said they'd been doing stuff in relation to psychic viewing and
Yeah.
UFOs and what have you in that area, and all of a sudden sightings surged,
Mm-hmm.
which normally would just suggest that people are looking for things and finding what they
Yeah.
want to see.
Yeah.
But it does say that there were already sightings in that area long before then.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've surged. They have become higher. You're seeing more sightings since they released that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was already a known location for
Yeah.
weird stuff. So I would imagine a certain percentage of the new sightings you can dismiss,
Yeah.
but a certain percentage maybe legit,
Ooh.
at least as legit as they were pre them announcing this
Yeah. Makes sense.
declassification.
Wow.
So it's not going into any totally specific things, although I do like how it says they did this psychic viewing thing and then ultimately concluded that it's basically nonsense.
Yeah. Amazing.
So, I mean, some people still legitimately think that psychic viewing, remote viewing is possible. But it has been tested multiple times, and every single time it has failed.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying it's
There
not
you
looking
go.
likely. Because that's something we can test.
Yeah.
The whole UFOs, whether or not they're there, whether or not they're extraterrestrial, you can't test that.
Yeah.
But if someone claims to be psychic, you can test that,
Yeah.
and you can find out that they're not. So,
Pretty easily, yep.
any other thoughts on that before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. So, if you're at the Mount Hayes area, have a look. Take some photos.
Yeah.
You're probably not, because I don't think anyone from Mount Hayes is listening.
You never know.
But you never know. If you do come across this, let us know.
There is no.
Right, let's go on to the next story.
Go on.
You're never going to believe the title for this one.
Oh, I'm ready.
Scientist delivers ominous message to humanity after UFO covered in strange writing is found.
What?
This is another one from the Mail Online.
Mm-hmm.
A UFO researcher has an ominous message for humanity as governments around the world begin releasing more information about alleged contact with extraterrestrials. Dr. Julia Mossbridge is a cognitive neuroscientist and a researcher of unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, the new term for UFOs and alien sightings. After scientists in Colombia recovered a mysterious sphere-shaped object that many now believe is a piece of UFO technology, Mossbridge said that the world is moving into an era which may soon have to deal with the knowledge that aliens exist. We are entering this is a quote, I think. We are entering a time when we are starting to recognize as humans we don't have the control that we thought we'd had over everything, Dr. Mossbridge told Fox News. While the sphere in Colombia is convincing many that the public is finally looking at alien technology, Mossbridge actually remains skeptical that this discovery is a genuine UFO. The sphere itself seems like an art project, the UFO researcher said, adding that she believes it was created by humans, not aliens. Mossbridge noted that no direct connection has been made between a video of what's being called the Booger sphere and the actual metal object found in Colombia. If an artist is doing this, why is that? Well, I think it's partly the same reason. It's because we're learning that we don't understand what's in our skies or our waters, and there's something going on that's essentially bigger than us, Mossbridge explained. The so-called UFO was spotted in March over the town of Booger, zigzagging through the sky in a way that defies the movement of conventional aircraft. That same object was allegedly recovered shortly after it landed and has since been analysed by scientists who discovered it features 3 layers of metal-like material and 18 microspheres surrounding the central nucleus that they are calling a chip. Dr. Jose Luis Velasquez, a radiologist who examined the sphere, reporting finding no welds or joints, which would typically provide a clue that humans made it. It is of artificial origin, in that it shows no evidence of welding, and its internal structure is composed of high-density elements. More testing is needed to establish its origin, Velasquez and his team contended. He says it's of artificial origin because there's no evidence of welding, but he just said evidence of welding would suggest that humans made it, making it artificial. If anything, the fact that there's no evidence of welding would suggest that it's of natural origin, right?
Yeah.
I would have thought.
Alexa thinks so too.
Thank you, Alexa. Anyway, I'll keep going. I just thought I'd point that out because it didn't make sense. The sphere also displays symbols that the team compared to ancient scripts, including runes, Ogham, and Mesopotamian writing systems. Using AI to assist in deciphering the design, the team interpreted the message to read, "The origin of birth through union and energy in the cycle of transformation, meeting point of unity, expansion and consciousness, individual consciousness." We interpret it as a message to humanity, encouraging a collective shift in consciousness to help Mother Earth, especially considering the current issues with pollution and environmental decline, the researchers said. David Velez El Potro, one of the individuals who recovered the object, recently spoke on Mausan television, hosted by journalist and ufologist Jaime Musan. I think it's pronounced Jaime. Whose research has stirred controversy for nearly a decade. Velez El Potro has claimed that the sphere is authentic, found in the woods of Buga. Jaime Musan is the guy who brought them alien mummies and wheeled them out in the Mexico government building on live TV.
Gotcha.
What is this? I think I've put something weird in here. Blah blah blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Let me just figure out what I'm doing here.
What's he doing?
This is Velez El Potro, the guy who found it in the woods. He told Musan that the man who found it, Jose, okay, so he didn't find it, someone else did, but I guess they brought it in together. Felt sick for days after touching the object. When I poured water on it, it started to smoke and the water vaporized instantly, Velez El Potro added, suggesting the interior was hot and exterior cold. There have been no official reports or scientific analysis to confirm claims of a sphere falling over Buga, only eyewitness reports. Velez El Potro said the government contacted him to hand it over, but he refused, saying it would never be seen again. What do you think? Actually, before you answer, we've got a link to an image of this sphere.
Ooh.
Again, I'll put it in the description so you can have a look. But let's have a look at this before making up our mind.
Exciting.
Boom! There it is.
Whoa.
What do you think? Definitely a sphere.
It is.
I assume this is the writing they're talking about that they've apparently translated via AI.
That's
What do you think?
suspicious.
Do you think... Does this around the edging not look like a weld? Like it's two bits welded together?
Pinch to zoom.
You
don't press it while you do it. Oh,
it's not doing... Oh, there we go.
Enhance.
I cannot enhance.
Oh.
I swear that looks like a ridge, like it's two bits put together.
Like a seam, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but that's the sphere.
That's very cool. That's like something out of the Fifth Element, though.
It's
like
snazzy looking.
The shapes and stuff, the patterns. But it's very Fifth Element to
I
me.
think I'm with the initial, what was the name? Mossbridge. I think I'm with that. This one, I don't think is. I think this is just some person making something.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel legit to me. Something about it feels like it's man-made.
Yeah. And
especially the fact that it clearly has a weld.
It clearly has a weld, and it looks like something, like I said, out of the Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that's someone wanting to do something.
Yeah.
You know, wanting to make it feel a bit.
It doesn't feel otherworldly, does it?
No.
I mean, they're claiming it was flying. Sorry.
Maybe someone threw it at him.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't. It was just being thrown. I don't know. But they said it was zigzagging. I don't know how it would fly. It doesn't seem to have any flight capabilities based on what you can see in that image. But who knows? Maybe that one was just a lie. Maybe it's actually quite light, and the wind was floating it about. I don't know. Just trying to come up with explanations because something doesn't seem legit to me there. Do you think?
Something's not quite adding up, is it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
so that's everything for UFOs.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. UFOs often a big one, but not this time.
Okay.
So we've got a few cryptozoology stories.
Okay. I'm ready.
You love them, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I saw a stupid AI video of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I think I reposted it on the TikTok, on the spooky TikTok.
Oh, yes.
It's very silly.
Be silly. Check that out if you haven't already.
Check it out.
If it has been reposted by us, you'll be able to find it, I'm sure.
If it hasn't, then I haven't.
There you go.
I don't remember. Anyway, I'm ready.
Right. Here's the first story. Giant anaconda crawls through the Amazon, goes viral, sparking debate over its reality.
Okay.
It's reality. This comes from Times of India.
Okay.
Well, I think it did originally, but the actual article was a bit of a mess to read.
Right.
So I actually just took what TK Randall, our boy TK Randall from Unexplained Mysteries, wrote up about it. Because he wrote a much better write-up than the actual source. So.
Okay.
So here's what it is. Reports of enormous snakes in the Amazon rainforest have been documented for centuries. Early explorers of this vast and inhospitable region claim to have witnessed giant anacondas measuring over 50 feet, and local villagers have described specimens even larger. Today, the giant anaconda is... I feel like I keep saying that wrong, but I don't think it is quite wrong.
Anaconda.
The giant anaconda is recognized as a very real animal, though documented specimens have never exceeded around 30 feet in length. Some experts believe that larger specimens genuinely did exist, but such creatures are now extremely rare due to deforestation and other human activities. Sometimes, however, a piece of evidence comes along that makes you wonder. The footage, which was recently shared on Twitter/X, has since gone viral and appears to show a particularly massive snake swimming across the Amazon River in the middle of the rainforest.
Big boy.
Trouble is, no one's quite sure if the video is actually real,
Right.
with many suggesting that it's instead a hoax produced with CGI or generated using artificial intelligence. So that's the story.
That's it now, isn't it? You can't really trust
You
anything.
can't trust anything, no. But we're going to have a look at this video anyway and give our thoughts. And yet again, I'll put this in description. Don't worry about it. It'll go in there.
Calm down.
So we're going to have a watch of this now. A little clicky of the link.
Add. Watch.
Here we go.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's straight into Twitter.
My anaconda don't.
Oh, there's some noise from a helicopter. There you go. What do you think?
Jesus Christ.
That's a bloody big snake if that's real.
That is massive.
How big would you say it is?
Bigger than me.
2 or 3 houses worth?
Maybe.
All stretched out on that.
Yeah. It's all curled up, innit? Fucking hell.
It's not... I don't know how thick it would be. It's kind of... Would these float? I don't know. Because it's not... It's like sitting on top of the water, isn't it? Based on the look of it.
Is the water deep?
I mean, it's not the ocean, but I think it's fairly deep. I don't know. That's one big snake.
That is one big snake.
It could well be AI or even CGI. It doesn't scream it to me. But I wouldn't be willing to completely rule that out.
No. It does look cool, though.
Yeah.
No comments.
No comments on this video, despite it going viral. But yeah, that's a hell of a snake, that.
That is a hell of a snake. That's mental, that.
There's Paul Rozzoli. I've talked to him about him before. He's in like podcasts and stuff. And he does... he lives half of his life in the rainforest, in the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, yeah, there are huge ones, bigger than the largest documented one." He knows it as he's had his hands on them.
Yeah.
But the problem is you can't document them because you can't capture them to document and measure. But he's like, "Yeah, there are definitely huge ones in there." I don't know if he's seen anything that huge.
Yeah.
But there are definitely some massive ones out there.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But I think that's a good video.
So
that.
cool.
We like that one. Anything else to say before we move on?
No, like that big snake.
Cool. Right, let's have a look at this one. Man captures creepy trail camera footage of strange figure in Arizona.
Oh, these freak me out. Arizona.
Again, I've done this one from TK Randall's write-up. Probably
Isn't it?
because the original source was nonsense, but I didn't actually write what the original source was, so...
Wow. Terrible.
Tough luck, original source. Here we go. A couple of months back, Danny Pusher of Fort Apache, Arizona, posted on Facebook to report that he had spotted something strange on trail camera footage recorded near to his home. He had set up the camera to see if he could capture anything unusual after hearing a peculiar howling or crying noise coming from the darkness at around 5 a.m. a couple of days earlier. Sure enough, when he checked back the footage, he spotted a strange figure that seemed to have been walking alone along a drainage ditch at 2:22 a.m. in the morning. That's what a.m. means.
A.m. in the morning, yeah.
Spooked by the sighting, he posted the footage up online to get a second opinion. At 2:20, this is what he said in his post. At 2:22 a.m., this early morning trail camera caught something walking in the drainage. Not sure if it's a skinwalker, Bigfoot, or someone walking in the drainage alone at 2:22 a.m. He wrote. The footage.
2:22.
2:22 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, that.
The footage he captures does appear to show someone or something walking in the darkness. Even if we assumed it was just a person, why were they there at such an ungodly hour?
Ungodly hour. These freak me out.
Got another little
Remember
video.
when we told the story about the garden gate?
The garden gate.
The garden gate is
Yeah.
swinging open. But as well, since then, there's been people skipping through and hopping the wall and that.
That wasn't a ghost, though.
No, but it's freaky.
Yeah, it was just some guy. But we've put fences up now, so they can't do that.
I can't hop the wall.
Good
Oh,
luck.
sorry, no shortcut for you, buddy. Get your steps in, love.
Right, let's have a look at this video.
Go on then.
See what you think it is. Clicking the link.
Facebook.
It's on Facebook, this.
FaceB.
Sorry, can we... Oh, no. It's too big. It's too big. So let's read the actual post.
Okay.
Talking about howling/crying the other day at 5 a.m. So I set up a trail cam in the drainage at 2:22 a.m. This early morning trail camera caught something walking by the drainage. Not sure if it's a skinwalker, Bigfoot, someone walking in the drainage. Trying to put it on my phone because another video, maybe it's screaming. I don't know.
Right.
This is some guy just posting on his Facebook, so he's not exactly writing it professionally. It's just it's genuine. So I don't know if we can see this that well. It's a video of him holding the camera and filming the screen on it.
Yeah.
Let's have a look and see what it shows. Do you see it?
Yeah.
You see it in the background there.
Yeah.
Does it come back around? Oh, there it is. He's reversed it there. You see it walking across in the background. There's definitely a figure there moving.
Yeah.
And it looks humanoid.
Human, yeah.
We can't say for sure what it is. Oh, a bit of a zoom in. There you go.
Wow.
It walks very human as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't walk
Looks
weird.
like it's just off for a stroll.
At 2:22 a.m. in the morning.
Stop saying 2:22 a.m. in the morning. The 222 is what's weird to me.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is, but it does. I'm not quite sure how remote this guy's property
Yeah, I
is
was
either or
about
anything
to
like
ask
that.
that.
That kind of stuff is quite important to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to say, but
It's still unsettling nonetheless.
there's definitely a figure there. It's definitely walking. It walks very human, like not like it's really heavy or anything, just like regular
it's
human
just
walk.
Strolling, yeah.
Could be some method, just walking
method.
about. I don't know. But yeah, definitely something you don't expect to see it. So it's creepy
Yeah.
when you see it. Yeah, on your night vision trail cam. So I'll put that in the description. You guys tell us what you think. Make up your mind.
Make up your mind.
Do some comments, please. Do some comments, pretty please. I would like that. Thank you.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
We got another one.
Oh,
Another
hey
little
up,
story.
hey up.
Gonna like this one.
Go on then.
Here's the headline: Baby Bigfoot caught on camera wandering through woods with deer.
Oh, baby Bigfoot.
Source for this one.
Oh,
Yeah,
little
guess.
baby Bigfoot.
Guess the source for this one.
I don't know.
Lad Bible.
Oh, I should have known. I should have known.
Here we go.
Ready?
Images show what some have claimed to be a baby Bigfoot roaming through the forest. In the picture, the strange figure can be seen in the background staring at a group of deer that are feeding in the woods. In 2024, when many people carry an insanely powerful camera in their pocket capable of producing photos which are insanely clear, you may think we'd get an image in focus. But no, despite all the technology reducing shake on phone cameras, not to mention some insane zooming features, everything's insane for this guy.
Yeah.
The footage still looks more pixelated than a game of Space Invaders.
Oh, I think he's a bit bitter about this.
Space Invaders is pretty clean looking.
I think he's trying to say it's pixelated, love.
Yeah, but it's not blurry. It's
No,
clear.
but it's pixels, innit?
You're Pixel.
I'm pixels. I'm 9 pixels.
Maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but the point still stands. It's blurry. See? Blurry.
Blurry.
Among them was Bigfoot spotter Stephanie Wood, who revealed that she was skeptical at first, but then began to wonder if it was actually Bigfoot. She said, "We know what you're thinking. It's Chaka from Land of the Lost."
Oh.
Our gut reaction to this photo is that it's probably a short person in a costume, maybe a kid, right? But after analysing it for a while, we're not so sure anymore. She added, "Could this be a baby Sasquatch or one of those hairy little people that pop up in reports now and
Them
then?"
hairy little people. What do you mean, them hairy
Them
little
hairy
people?
little people that pop up in reports now and then, and which are described as squatchlets.
I ain't never heard of that. Squatchlets, that's so cute.
I've never heard that either. It's just one of those hairy people that pop up in reports. Like, what are you talking about?
What's the name? Stephanie Wood?
Sophie,
Steph. She knows what's going on
she's
anyway.
called
Summit Wood.
Stephanie Wood. Yeah,
See, I know. She knows what's going on. She knows what's up.
she knows about the
the
squatchlets.
squatchlets. That's so cute.
One thing,
I want to see it. I'm ready.
one thing we know for sure is that the truth is truly stranger than fiction in more cases than not. Chaka or a squatchlet, you decide. Let's have a look at this image.
I'm ready.
Open up the link again. Don't keep your pants on. I'm going to put it in the description. All right.
Stop
you don't have
taking your pants
to.
off.
Still write the comment though. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
care if you're angry in the comment. Just write a comment.
Go on.
Go on.
Tell us about.
There it is.
That's a bloody Ewok, that.
It's a squatchlet.
What the hell is that?
What do you think? It's a squatchlet.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah, because then you've got the deer.
There's the
there,
deer.
yeah.
There's the squatchlet.
That is me when it's pissing it down rain. I'm wearing my winter coat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that looks. No. What is that from? Do you know them fucking kids' costumes where they dress up like a sunflower?
Yeah.
That or a lion. I'm really starting to think it's just a kid in a costume now.
Or it's a squatchlet.
Or it might be a squatchlet.
One of those hairy little people.
Pop up every now and then, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Standard.
Everyone knows them.
Everyone knows about them squatchlets.
Right, let's get rid of
We
squatchlet.
should ask your mum and dad tomorrow. You heard about them squatchlets? Yeah, of course. Everyone knows about squatchlets.
That's everything for
Cryptozoology.
cryptozoology.
Right.
There's one or two others, you know, the category
the
other that
other.
doesn't fit in the big three.
I'm ready.
So we've got one or two of them before we go on to our specialist stories.
Specialist stories.
Here's the first one. Unknown strain of bacteria found on China's Tiangong space station.
Oh.
The source is Live Science.
Live science.
Scientists have discovered a new microbe never before seen on Earth inside China's Tiangong space station. The new strain of bacteria named Nialia. I'm going with Nialia.
Yeah.
That's not the whole name. Nialia
Oh, no.
tiangongenesis. Yeah?
I can't see it.
There.
Nearly Tiangong Genesis.
Yes.
Yep, I think
Yeah.
you're right.
Cool. Named that after the space station, is a variant of a soil-dwelling terrestrial microbe that can cause sepsis and was found inside one of the station's cabins. Now, you don't want note causing sepsis.
No,
That's not good, that.
not
You don't want
ideal,
any
is
of
it?
that. Now, a new analysis of the strain has revealed that the bacterium isn't only one of a kind, but has also picked up some key adaptations that could be helpful in future space missions. The researchers published their findings on the 3rd of March in the journal International Journal of Systematic and Evolutionary Microbiology. Understanding the characteristics of microbes during long-term space missions is essential for safeguarding the health of astronauts and maintaining the functionality of spacecraft, the researchers wrote in a study.
Right.
The new strain was found in samples collected in 2023 by the crew of Shenzhou 15 mission, who swabbed the space station's modules with sterile wipes before freezing them for transport. After being sent back to Earth, the analysis revealed that the bacteria was closely related to Nialia circulans, a rod-shaped spore-propagating bacteria that typically dwells in soil, sewage, and food and can cause sepsis in immunocompromised patients. However, the strain has also picked up a few new adaptations to survive the harsh conditions of space. These include genes that code responses to oxidative stress, repair the bacteria from radiation damage, and enable it to form biofilms by breaking down gelatin to extract carbon and nitrogen. It's not yet clear if the new strain could cause harm to humans, but the researchers hope that by studying it further, they could learn more about how it and others survive, as well as the best ways to prevent human astronauts from any risks associated with space-adapted bugs. This isn't the first microbe to have made the evolutionary leap to survive beyond our planet, either. In 2018, NASA scientists discovered 4 previously unknown strains of antibiotic-resistant bacteria hiding inside the International Space Station's toilets, each with a suite of new adaptations to help them survive in outer space.
That's freaky deaky.
So, you take something to outer space. Outer space is a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
You don't have the protection of the atmosphere and the ozone layer, protecting you from the radiation of the sun. So you're getting blasted with that. And there's no oxygen. There's no gravity.
Yeah.
There's no heat.
Mm-hmm.
It's cold and horrible.
Cold and horrible.
But these bacteria have found a way to survive. Now, they're quite hardy. They don't have a lot of systems going on, so there's not a lot to figure out in terms of survival. But it can happen. So, you know, panspermia?
Beg pardon?
You don't know about panspermia?
No.
Panspermia is the idea that life could arrive on planets via meteorites. So, like, hypothetically, on Earth, rather than life starting on Earth, that Earth had no life, some kind of bacteria came from a meteorite, crashed into Earth, and then the life was on Earth, and then evolved.
Right.
Could be the way it happened.
Could be.
But like, it could be all sorts of life flying around out there if it is able to adapt to that quite well to surviving in space. Who knows? There could be a lot of panspermia going on out in space.
You never know.
You just don't know. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. So I've told you that now.
Thank you.
No worries. And that is all of our normal stories.
Ooh.
But it don't stop there, folks.
What?
So we have 2 specialist subjects we're going to read through here. Now, this is the first time we've done this.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the way I've written them, if that's going to make sense. It might be a bit iffy. Because,
right.
like I say, we've not done it like this before.
Okay.
But hopefully we'll get through it.
Yeah.
So the first one, the first story is about the Georgia Guidestones.
Tell me more.
I've been asked to do a story about this from our mate Dale.
Hey up, Dale.
Shout out, Dale. This one's for you. So I've done some research into these. And it goes quite deep. There's a certain amount that's definite. They're still quite interesting. And then the deeper you go, the more sketchy and less reliable the information is. And the more it's just people saying things. But I'll tell you about it and we'll see what you think.
Okay.
So for those of you out there who don't know about the Georgia Guidestones, this is what they are. And this is about them. In June 1979, a man using the pseudonym Robert C. Christian approached the Elberton Granite Finishing Company on behalf of what he would call a small group of loyal Americans, and he commissioned a structure. Christian explained that the stones would function as a compass, calendar, and clock, and should be capable of withstanding catastrophic events. The man reportedly used the pseudonym as a reference to the Christian religion.
Right.
Christian said that he wanted to build a granite monument that would rival the British Neolithic monument Stonehenge, which he drew inspiration from after paying it a visit. However, he said that while it was impressive, Stonehenge had no message to communicate, and he wanted his to communicate a message.
Right.
So we'll go a little bit now into who this Robert C. Christian may be.
Right.
So this particular bit came from CNN. Someone from CNN did a story on this when they looked into who they thought it might be. So here's a little excerpt from that. As I looked into the backstory of the Guidestones' pseudonymous creator, known as Robert Christian or R.C. Christian, I learned that he'd published a book in 1986 under his fictitious name. This book, Common Sense Renewed, was said to explain his plan for humanity. The book was rare and elusive. No copies were available on Amazon, nor at any of my local libraries. I saw it listed in the holdings of Ave Maria University in Florida and searched for it there. Neither I nor a librarian could find the book in the stacks. Later, a supervisor called me to say it had disappeared.
Hey up.
Bit weird.
That is weird.
I kept looking until I found another copy listed in the online catalogue of an obvious place, the public library in Elberton. It wasn't on the shelf there either, but when I asked a librarian, she retrieved it from a room behind the desk. The book had a hard grey-blue cover with the title and the author's name in gold lettering. I opened it and began to read. This link, I think, was just a picture of the book, just so you can see what it looks like. There it is.
All right, yeah.
Common Sense Renewed by Robert Christian.
Pretty standard, that is.
Just standard, very plain-looking
Yeah.
cover. I'll put this link in his description as well, don't worry, okay?
Keep them pants on.
You can have a look at it, Dale, don't worry.
Yeah, Dale.
So, here's what it said in the book. I am the originator of the Georgia Guidestones. Not hiding it, is he?
Right.
And the sole author of its inscriptions, Christian wrote. I have had the assistance of a number of other American citizens in bringing the monument into being. We have no mysterious purpose or ulterior motives. We seek common sense pathways to a peaceful world, without bias for particular creeds or philosophies. Yet our message is in some areas controversial. I have chosen to remain anonymous in order to avoid debate and contention. Our guides must stand on their own merits. Okay, that's what it says about them in the book. So this conspiracy theorist, as the internet labelled him,
Yep.
called Jay Widener, who is the author and filmmaker known for The Last Avatar, Deep Space, and Kubrick's Odyssey, Secrets Hidden in the Films of Stanley Kubrick, Part 1, Kubrick and Apollo. So he's doing a film basically on the moon landing being fake by Stanley Kubrick. Hence his reputation as a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
He has said that the pseudonym of the man who commissioned the stones, R.C. Christian, resembled Rose Cross Christian, or Christian Rosencreuz, the founder of the Rosicrucian order. That's a bunch of words, right?
That's a bunch of words.
So, you don't know what that means? I didn't know what it means. So I went a bit into Rosicrucianism to try and explain what the hell that's all about. Rosicrucianism is a spiritual and cultural movement that arose in the early modern Europe in the early 17th century after the publication of several texts announcing to the world a new esoteric order. So, I can't remember if I've written this somewhere here. I don't know if you know what esoteric means. I'd heard it, and you kind of get a gist of what it means based on where you hear it,
Like
but I didn't know what it
context,
actually
yeah.
meant. So I looked up, what does esoteric actually mean? It basically means that it's rare, like difficult to obtain knowledge,
Right.
or like difficult to understand.
Yeah.
It's so when people tell you, "Oh, this esoteric knowledge," it's basically saying, "Oh, you wouldn't understand."
Right.
It doesn't mean they understand. It doesn't mean they've got an explanation. It's just like, "Oh, you wouldn't understand. It's esoteric," and that's
Right.
kind of the way
Yeah.
it's used. I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough then. So when you hear esoteric knowledge, or at least for me, having looked up, that's what came to mind when I
Yeah.
think when you hear esoteric. So anyway, I'll continue on. Soon after these texts were published throughout Europe, the Fama Fraternitatis Rosicrucis, the fame of the Brotherhood of the Rosy Cross, was circulated in manuscript among German occultists since about 1610. And published at Kassel in 1614. Johannes Valentuis Andrea has been considered the possible author of the work. So that's what one of the manuscripts was called, which spouted this esoteric knowledge, New World, all this kind of stuff. It's based in Christianity, but someone is kind of, for whatever reasons we don't know, partly because they're claiming it's esoteric and partly because it's just not written down as far as I can see. They're saying, "Oh, we actually think these things," so now then they put them out. You know what I mean? And anyone who could read, because I think in 1614, I don't know how many people could read.
Yeah.
So anyone who could read that, and
Right.
mind you, that's probably a part right. They can read. They've written this saying, "Oh, this, all this," and then they're telling people they don't know
Yeah.
because they can't read.
Yeah.
This person can read. He's probably smarter than them. They'll just believe him, right? So
Standard.
I don't know. Johann Valentin Andrea was a German theologian who claimed to be the author of an ancient text known as the Chemisch Hochzeit Christini Rosenkreuz. Rosenkreuz, anno in 1459. There's some hard to pronounce things in here.
Yeah, why can't they just called it Twilight?
Andrea was a prominent member of the Protestant utopian movement, which began in Germany and spread across Northern Europe into Britain. I don't know if the Protestant utopian movement was just Protestantism or if that's like a separate subsect of it. I'm not sure. Many were attracted to the promise of a universal reformation of mankind through a science built on esoteric truths of the ancient past.
Brilliant.
Sure it was. Which, quote, concealed from the average man provide insight into nature, the physical universe, and the spiritual realm, which they say had been kept secret for decades until the intellectual climate was ready to receive it. The manifestos elaborate these matters extensively but cryptically in terms of Kabbalah, Hermeticism, alchemy, and Christian mysticism, subjects whose methods, symbolism, and allusions were ardently studied by many intellectuals of the period. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they've basically said, all this information was kept secret from us until we were ready to hear it. And now we know it. But you wouldn't understand because it's esoteric. I understand because I can read.
Right.
I mean, feel free to make your own interpretation, but that's how I interpreted that. So now we get to Christian Rosenkreuz, who's the apparent founder of Rosicrucianism, possibly being alluded to, or at least the name for the person who got the Georgia Guidestones made.
Yeah.
Would be possibly alluding to him, maybe implying that they're, whoever they are, is the Rosicrucian, is part of a Rosicrucian order.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy is a legendary, aka possibly not real, aka possibly allegorical, is what it says, founder of the Rosicrucian order, Order of the Rose Cross, which is what Rosicrucian order means.
Yeah.
He is presented in 3 manifestos that were published early in the 17th century. According to the narrative in the Fama Fraternitatis, oh my God, Fraternitatis, Christian, that's what it is. The Fama Fraternitatis. Christian Rosenkreuz was a medieval German aristocrat, orphaned at the age of 4 and raised in a monastery, where he studied for 12 years. On his journeys to the Holy Land, as well as through Northern Africa and Spain, he is said to have discovered and learned various forms of esoteric wisdom. This journey, which would have taken place in the early 15th century, would have placed him among Turkish, Arab, Jewish, and Persian sages, and possibly Sufi or Zoroastrian masters. Upon returning to his homeland, Rosenkreuz founded the Fraternity of Rose Cross, with himself, Frater CRC, as head of the group of 8 members. Under his direction, a temple called Sanctus Spiritus, or the House of the Holy Spirit, was built for the members to return to and meet each year. In his tomb, discovered 120 years later by a brother of the order, it is described that his body was in a perfect state of preservation, as Rosenkreuz had earlier predicted, in a heptagonal erected by himself as a compendium of the universe.
Wild.
Whatever the hell that all means.
Yeah.
Again, this is like pretty old history stuff.
Yeah.
The amount of actual written
Documentation
of it, or the amount that you can go and see and document now, whether it's real.
Yeah.
There's not a lot there, so it's mostly word of mouth, and you know how that gets exaggerated. So I'm not saying it's entirely just complete nonsense, but I am saying take it with a heavy grain of salt, because it's probably not totally what it sounds like. So there are other people potentially considered that people think for one reason or another might be the people who commissioned the Georgia Guidestones.
Okay.
One of them is Ted Turner. Do you know Ted Turner?
No.
That's all right, because I'm going to tell you who he is.
I know Timmy Turner.
Ted Turner is an American entrepreneur, television producer, media proprietor, and philanthropist. He founded the cable news network, CNN, the first 24-hour cable news channel. In addition, he founded WTBS, which pioneered the superstation concept in cable television, as well as television networks TBS and TNT. As a philanthropist, he gave $1 billion to create the United Nations Foundation, a public charity to broaden U.S. support for the United Nations. Turner serves as chairman of the United Nations Foundation Board of Directors. Additionally, in 2001, Turner co-founded the Nuclear Threat Initiative with the U.S. Senator Sam Nunn, DGA, whatever that is. NTI is a non-partisan organization dedicated to reducing global reliance on and preventing the proliferation of nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons. He currently serves as a co-chairman of the board of directors. That's who he is. So people think he's suggesting he may be the commissioner because he's rich and he has some philanthropic efforts.
Fair enough.
I don't know that there's anything specifically linking him to the Georgia Guidestones, but that's, someone has been suggested could be it. Another person suggested is Jane Fonda.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Jane Fonda is an American actress and activist recognized as a film icon. Fonda's work spans several genres over 6 decades of film and television. Fonda was a political activist in the countercultural era during the Vietnam War. She was photographed sitting on a North Vietnamese anti-aircraft gun in 1972 in a 1972 visit to Hanoi, during which she gained the nickname Hanoi Jane. Fonda protested the Iraq War along with violence against women, and she describes herself as a feminist and environmental activist. Fonda has co-founded the Hollywood Women's Political Committee in 1984 and the Women's Media Center in 2005. Fonda is also known for her exercise tapes, starting with Jane Fonda's Workout from 1982, which became the highest-selling videotape of its time. In 2013, it was revealed that Fonda was one of approximately 1,600 Americans whose communications between 1967 and 1973 were monitored by the United States National Security Agency, NSA, as part of Project Minaret, a program that some NSA officials have described as disreputable, if not downright illegal. Fonda's communications, as well as those of her husband, Tom Hayden, were intercepted by Britain's Government Communications Headquarters, GCHQ. Under the UK-USA agreement, intercepted data on Americans was sent to the US government. So that's not me and you, but the UK government...
We snitched.
Had a little peek at what Jane Fonda was talking about and then went and told the US government about it.
Fucking snitches get stitches,
for whatever
mate.
reason. Jane Fonda is suspected to have connection to the Georgia Guidestones due to her past criticisms of the US government and public image. She is known for her anti-war activism, including her Hanoi Jane nickname, which sparked outrage among Americans. Her public profile and past criticisms have led some to speculate about a potential involvement in the Georgia Guidestones, although there is no definitive evidence to support this theory. So, that's another person. So, we go back now.
Mm-hmm.
You okay?
Yep.
We go back now to CNN to continue what their theory was.
Mm-hmm.
Because we didn't finish that. Their theory is that the man responsible for the Georgia Guidestone construction in 1980 used the pseudonym Robert Christian, or R.C. Christian. His real name, according to CNN's Thomas Lake, was Herbert H. Kirsten. And this guy is an Iowa physician who died in 2005. Lake based his guess on information inadvertently revealed to a documentary filmmaker by an Elberton banker who kept Christian's financial records but had vowed never to reveal his identity. The address on the document showed on camera and other clues led to Kirsten. He was involved in a number of far-right organizations, including the Congress for Freedom and the John Birch Society, as well as groups interested in population control. He was also the primary backer of the controversial Georgia Guidestones monument near Elberton, Georgia, according to someone who posted about apparent FBI files on him via a website called Muckrock. File track and share, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. That
Blah, 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 blah.
So according to this apparent FBI file from this website, he was the primary backer of the Georgia Guidestones. Apparently.
Supposedly
so. So that's who this what's Mr. Lake from CNN thinks it is.
Yeah.
So it could be him, Jane Fonda, Ted, what's his name? It could be none of them. And it could be that whoever did it is linked to Rosicrucianism. No one really knows. These are all just theories that have been put out there. Let's get to some more down to earth about it. What the actual Guidestones say.
Okay.
So, what do Georgia Guidestones say? They have a message consisting of, or they had, which I'll get into, a message consisting of a set of 10 guidelines or principles that were engraved on them in 8 different languages. One language on each face of the 4 large upright stones. Moving clockwise around the structure from due north, these languages were English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindu, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. The languages were chosen because they represented most of humanity, except for Hebrew, which was chosen because of its connections to Judaism and Christianity. According to the monument sponsors, the inscriptions are meant to guide humanity to conserve nature after a nuclear war, which the creators thought was an imminent threat. This was in the 80s.
Yeah.
The inscriptions dealt with 4 main themes: governance and establishment of a world government, population and reproduction control, and the environment and humankind's relationship due to nature, and spirituality. So the population and reproduction control, that's a throwback to that guy that CNN's reporter thought it was, because he was involved in groups that were big on population control. So that's one of the links there.
Yeah.
So here's what the actual inscriptions read. These are the actual guidelines for the Georgia Guidestones.
Okay.
Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So never get over 500 million people.
Right.
Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
Had to say it twice.
Apparently so. Yeah, so most of them sound fairly reasonable. Some of them are a bit like, depending on how you implement them.
Yeah.
But overall, not terrible. So, a few feet to the west of the monument, an additional granite ledger had been set level with the ground. This tablet identified the structure and the languages used on it and listed various facts about the size, weight, and astronomical features of the stones. The date it was installed and the sponsors of the project. It referred to a time capsule buried under the tablet, but blank spaces on the stone intended for filling in the dates on which the capsule was buried and was to be opened had not been inscribed. So it was uncertain if the time capsule was ever actually put in place. During the removal of the monument in July 2022, county officials dug 6 feet down underneath this tablet to check for a time capsule, but found nothing.
Should have gone 8 feet.
Possibly it was deeper. But, at what point do you stop? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're assuming there is no time capsule.
Right.
We never got round to that bit, I guess. I don't know. The text of the explanatory tablet was somewhat inconsistent with respect to punctuation and misspelled the word pseudonym. The original spelling, punctuation, and line breaks in the text have been preserved in the transcription. Letter case is not. At the top center of the tablet was written, "The Georgia Guidestones. Center cluster erected March 22nd, 1980. Immediately below this line was an outline of a square, inside which was written, 'Let these be guidestones to an age of reason.' Around the edges of the square were written translations to 4 ancient languages, one per edge. Starting from the top and proceeding clockwise, they were Babylonian, in cuneiform script, Classical Greek, Sanskrit, and Ancient Egyptian in hieroglyphs. On the left side of the tablet was a column of text, metric conversion added." Is what this says. I don't even remember why. I don't know. I did this research a bit ago, so I don't remember everything about why I put stuff where. Astronomic features. Channel through stone indicates celestial pole. Horizontal slot indicates annual travel of sun. Sunbeam through capstone marks noontime throughout the year. Author R.C. Christian. A pseudonym. Sponsors. A small group of Americans who seek the age of reason. Time capsule, placed 6 feet, below this
Oh,
spot.
all right. So that's why
They went 6 feet on, and then that was left blank because they never said to be
Yeah.
opened on, and they never did that either.
Bloody hell, half a job here.
The words appeared as shown under the time capsule heading. No dates were engraved. So here's why they're no longer around.
Go on.
On July 6, 2022, an explosive device was detonated at the site, destroying the Swahili and Hindi languages slab and causing significant damage to the capstone. Nearby residents reportedly heard and felt explosions around 4 a.m. CCTV footage recorded a vehicle leaving the scene, and police investigated the incident. The remaining stones were dismantled by authorities for safety reasons later in the day with a backhoe, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. So considering when they commissioned them this earlier, it said they specifically said they wanted them to be able to survive catastrophic events.
Yeah.
Someone exploded one device on them, they're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not. The actual stones or what's left of them have been preserved. They still exist. They're just no longer erected publicly. On the evening of the bombing,
people just ruin stuff, don't they?
Yeah. On the evening of the bombing, the GBI released a video showing both the explosion and a vehicle of interest leaving the scene shortly before. No motive has been publicly shared and no suspects publicly identified. On July 14th, 2022, and again on July 25th, 2022, the GBI gave an update with no significant progress on the case being made since the bombing. Prosecutors suggested that the Guidestones were maintained by the county, they were considered a public building, and thus their destruction would carry a minimum sentence of 20 years in prison. In late July 2022, Elberton Mayor Daniel Graves said the town planned to rebuild the monument exactly as it was, adding, "We're just getting geared up and excited about rebuilding them. It's going to happen. It may take us 6 months to a year to do it, but we're going to do it." On August 8th, 2022, Elberton County Council voted to begin legal proceedings to return the 5 acres of land of the monument have built on to its previous owner, a local farm. The City Council announced that the remains of the monument, which had been moved to a third-party location for safety reasons, will be given to the Elberton Granite Association. Both the Elberton Granite Association and the Elberton County City Council expressed doubt that the Guidestones would be rebuilt, but expressed hope that one day it could happen. And as far as I'm aware, it hasn't happened so far. So, that's all about the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah.
We're going to run through now some theories about them. And then I think that leads us to the end of the Georgia Guidestones bit.
Okay.
But here are the theories now. Yoko Ono.
Yep.
You know Yoko Ono. Was it John Lennon's wife?
Yeah.
Yeah. Had said that the inscribed messages were a stirring call to rational thinking. However, the Guidestones inscriptions have also been accused of promoting eugenics and genocide. The Guidestones became a subject of interest for conspiracy theorists. Wide stated that the unspecified opponents have labelled them 10 Commandments of the Antichrist. Some conservative Christians have called the monument satanic. From AP News, the site received renewed attention during Georgia's May 24th gubernatorial primary when third-place Republican candidate Candice Taylor claimed the Guidestones as satanic and made demolishing them part of her platform. Comedian John Oliver featured the Guidestones and Taylor in a segment of his show. Here's what she'd actually said. "God is God all by himself. He can do anything he wants to," Taylor wrote on social media Wednesday. This was the Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the time. That includes striking down satanic Guidestones. That's what she said after they were destroyed.
Amazing.
So she's saying, "Oh, God did it himself." She obviously ran on wanting
in his little van, his little car that drove away.
She's obviously run on part of her thing was destroying the Guidestones.
Yeah.
So she's kind of suspicious in that then.
Sus.
Or, whoever, people that
Saw her venting.
think the same things she thinks. Maybe one of them took it on themselves, who knows. The monument had previously been vandalised, including when it was spray painted in 2008 and 2014. McCarthy said she said the bombing is another example of how conspiracy theories do and can have real-world impact. Right-wing activist Mark Dice demanded that the Guidestones should be smashed into 1 million pieces and then the rubble should be used for a construction project, claiming that the Guidestones are of a deep satanic origin and that R.C. Christian belongs to a Luciferian secret society related to the New World Order. At the unveiling of the monument, a local minister proclaimed that he believed that the monument was for sun worshippers for cult worship and for devil worship. The principles of the Guidestones. Some interpret the Guidestones' message, which advocate for drastic population reduction and other radical changes, as aligning with a dark vision of the future, connecting them to Luciferian ideals. Conservative Christian interpretations. Certain conservative Christians have labelled the monument as satanic, viewing it as a threat to traditional values and religious beliefs. Here's something that comes from The Independent. Opposition to the stones began almost as soon as they were unveiled. According to the BBC, one of the 100 people who attended the unveiling, a local pastor, immediately began circulating his theory that the stones were built for the cult and devil worship based on its similar appearance to Stonehenge. Conservative Christians sometimes link pagan ritual sites to demonic worship, wrapping all animist religions under the umbrella of demonic. Since then, religious conservatives fearing a new world order have cast suspicion and scorn on the monument, both for its likeness and for its message. Just for 2 months before the attack, a Republican gubernatorial hopeful named Candace Taylor, we've spoken about her, posted a video to a Twitter account calling for demolition of the monument via her Executive Order Number 10. Miss Taylor, who echoed former President, now current President Donald Trump's 2020 election conspiracies, later drummed up some of her own after she was smashed in Georgia's gubernatorial primary by incumbent Brian Kemp. A bunch of American politics nonsense. Basically, she lost and then she got all upset and said some stuff. In a glossy campaign video, she announced her Executive Order 10, which would see the monument demolished. Throughout the video, she nods to other conservative talking points and conspiracy theories. The video starts by citing COVID-19 vaccine conspiracy, with Miss Taylor saying over 4 million people got injected with something that they took only 9 months to create. Ask yourself why. It then moves on to demonic human sacrifice. Human sacrifice was a form of demonic worship. We're still doing it in present day by killing our unborn, she says, while a graphic about the number of abortions performed worldwide splashes across the screen. It's the same demons, the same sacrifice, it's the same sin, it's just a different time. Then she shifts the focus to the New World Order and the insinuation that the Georgia Guidestones are a message from the demon-worshipping elite who secretly rule the world as to their plans. New World Order is here, and they told us it was coming, she says. Shortly after news broke that the stones had been damaged, rather than denouncing the destruction of the property by a protester, which is standard for most Republicans, she suggested that God struck down one of the stones.
The amount that I rolled my eyes throughout that.
Yeah. The thing is, so we don't know why Georgia Guidestones were made, really, with what people say, but we don't know. We don't know the people that made them. So you start saying stuff like this, it's a bit weak anyway, because where you're getting it from. But it's like, okay, maybe. But then you start saying stuff like, are people having abortions is human sacrifice? And it's like, okay, so you don't actually know, you're just chatting.
Just pushing
shit.
your agenda, yeah.
Like, I mean, you think what you want. You're more than welcome to think what you want. But, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just be telling people.
What the fuck have these stones got to do with that?
It's completely unrelated. And there's a clear theme, you know, there's a clear way of thinking that follows through every sort of talking point there.
Yeah.
And it's not, it doesn't feel like any kind of original thought has gone through the head.
Not a single one.
So I don't know what Georgia Guidestones were made. Maybe there's something a bit more sinister to them. As it stands, it's my interpretation, my idea, is that it is just some rich person. Maybe it's Jane Fonda. Maybe it's, well, you know what I mean? Whoever it is, just some rich American or a group of rich Americans who are like really self-important, thought, oh, we know how to sort out the world
in
an important situation. Let's spend a bunch of money making these big, silly-looking things and act like it's all important by staying anonymous and what have you. The fact that they said anonymous is a bit, because, you know, at some point you think, oh, I want recognition for this. And they haven't, so fair enough.
It's interesting that there's been no phony ones. Like phony people being like,
claiming,
oh, I did that, I did that.
There probably has, but I didn't see anything when I was researching it.
Fair enough. Yeah, it probably has.
Yeah, I get. So I think like the descriptions on it, like it probably is their idea. Oh, this is how we make the world better. It's one person's idea. It's hardly set in stone. It's hardly fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a bit ostentatious. It's a bit much for them to have had them built, but
yeah,
whatever. I don't think there's anything more sinister to it based on the research I've done. But you feel free to make up your own mind. What do you think?
I think that's a pretty cool story, that.
Yeah.
I've never heard of
You
it.
never heard of them,
Never
yeah.
heard of it. So thanks, Dale.
It's cool. The mystery of it's very cool.
Yeah.
But like I say, having dug a bit deeper, I don't think there's anything too much to it.
I'm annoyed about the time capsule
It's just
thing.
who is it? That's the only thing.
Time capsule thing bothered me. What a
They just
fucking
didn't
half
bother
a
doing
job,
it, yeah.
mate. You've done that whole thing, got that bit where it says, buried on this date or whatever, open
Yeah.
on this date.
And, just
And
didn't
you've
do
not
it.
filled it in, you fucking pleb.
So
Bothers
so
me,
that's
man.
that.
That was very interesting. I liked that.
Big segment that.
Mysterious.
So I hope you enjoyed that, Dale.
Thanks, Dale.
Please leave a comment.
Please,
you.
go on.
Go on, like video as well while you're there. Go
Yeah.
on. You might as well.
Aw,
You're there. You
go
might as well like
on.
it. Right. This is the last thing we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
This one is for Matt.
Hey up, Matt.
Matt at work. He came to me the other day and he was like, "Oh, have you heard of the Domsten Blobs?"
I beg pardon.
Exactly. I had not heard of the Domsten Blobs. This is something he'd heard. I don't know if he was as a kid, but as a younger man at least. That he found intriguing, and he couldn't remember what it was. He remembered some details about it being in Sweden, this, that, and the other. And then he found it. He's like, "Oh, it's this thing." I was like, "Okay, I'll do some research and I'll do a segment on it."
Oh, cool.
So that's what we're doing.
I'm ready.
So the Domsten Blob, basically, it's like a close encounter kind of deal.
Right.
So here we go. The Domsten Blobs sighting is an extraterrestrial sighting and attempted abduction case that took place in Sweden at about 3 a.m. on the 20th of December 1958. The two recorded witnesses were co-workers Stig Rydberg, who was 30 years old, and Hans Gustafsson, who was 24 years old. In a clearing near the village of Domsten, hence Domsten Blobs, they claimed to have fought for their lives. Their opponents were 3 or 4 grey shapeless beings which landed on a discoid object. This event has become one of the most celebrated UFO cases both in and outside of Sweden. The UFO's diameter was about 5 meters, or 16 feet. Its height was about close to 1 meter, or about 3 feet, 3 inches. So not very
Yeah.
It rested on 3 legs. The craft was self-illuminating, but the glare was neither blinding nor warming. In the center of the light, they thought that a darker core could be distinguished. The creatures were small and grey, perhaps 1.3 meters tall, a little over 4 feet. So
Did he?
about,
Did he?
you're not very big. Well, I've lost where I am now. Oh, there we go. And about 40 centimeters broad, 1 foot, 31 inches, roughly. So not very tall, not very wide. Some quite small blobs. They seemed to lack extremities, shaped like loaves, and moved very fast.
Oh, I love the visuals in my mind right now.
A fight to the death broke out when Rydberg struck one of the assailants.
What?
His arm plunged into the creature to the elbow,
Nah.
and the blow had no effect. The creature had a respectable grasping ability and were able to dodge the lightning-quick young men's punches as if they were anticipating their thoughts. The creatures were ultimately scared away by a car horn. That's so. Yeah, in my actual looking for text on it,
Yeah.
there was like a wiki that had all this information. The source it was given was pirufo-news.com.
Right.
I think I looked at that site and it's no longer active.
Okay.
Everywhere else I looked had this exact same information.
Right. So yeah.
There was only one other source of information I could find, which was a podcast
Okay.
called it was UFOs but it's UFOs.
All right.
So a group of British guys who found this information, they were having a chat about it.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got the information from because, like I said, I couldn't find anything else. There seems to be very little actually on this.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of other little bits in the information of this story. Specifically that, and I don't remember which one it was. I want to say it was Stig Rydberg. But basically, Stig and Hans had been out on a night out. And they were... Again, some of this might not be true because this is what they were saying, and I don't know where they got this information from. But what they were saying is they were on the night out. They were on the way home. They stopped they needed a wee.
Yep.
Go in the woods, have a wee. Maybe they saw something first. I don't know. So go into the wee. They have this encounter where they're like, it's scary, don't know what's going on. One of them goes to punch the things, hand goes in it, and it's grasping him.
That's
won't let it go.
fucked, that.
The other one gets in the car, beeps the horn, they get scared,
Yeah.
off into the craft, and they leave, right? These two guys...
That's a good shout, that, beeping on.
Yeah. These two guys then go, so according to this podcast, they were both staying with one of their parents. I'm not sure which one it was.
Right.
I think they both worked... No, I think what they actually said was that they worked together. One of their parents, their mum, owned like a restaurant or something, and they both worked there, so they were...
Right,
so they went back there.
Yeah.
They told whichever one it was their mum.
Yeah.
She laughed, said, this is nonsense.
Slow. Tee ha ha.
But then decided, so they decided, oh, we don't want to tell anyone. But then she decided, oh, let's tell the papers, maybe to drum up some publicity for the restaurant or whatever. So they told them, and then they did an interview about it, okay? Which I assume is where most of the information actually comes from.
Yeah.
The one thing that these guys had said that it was a little bit more interesting is that the Swedish government got involved. Once they heard that they're doing this story, they then got involved and started talking to them as well.
Right.
Not that anything came of it. They asked some questions, they answered, they went away, whatever. Like that was it. Like there was nothing more to it. But that's what intrigues me, because you got to tell the paper about some incident that happened to you. The government aren't coming knocking on your door asking you.
Not bothered.
So something triggered them to think this is worth us getting involved in as well. Whether it's just because where they were was near like a government site that we're supposed to be near. It could have been as simple as that.
Yeah.
But just saying that's a little bit more suspicious. Maybe they knew there was a visitation.
Ooh.
And they wanted to find out what happened in this interaction.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, I don't know. But that's literally all I could find about this.
Wow.
So there's very little information as far as I could see. I mean, if anyone's listening and you know anything more, please tell me. But I'm not saying I couldn't have looked harder. There's always more things you could do.
Yeah.
But, I searched multiple sites.
Everything seemed to be quoting the same thing.
Yeah. I found this podcast. I listened through that. I made a post on Reddit. I was trying to solicit more information, but got nothing from that. So
you're going to leave it, though? Something might pop up.
Yeah. I don't know if it actually, because it has to be conferred by a moderator or whatever before it actually posts. So I don't know if they actually even posted
All
it.
right.
But, I tried.
Yeah.
So that's I can't do much more than that aside from, I don't know, direct messaging people. You know what I mean?
Oh, effort that.
Like trying to find relatives of the people involved or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be very hard to find more information, but that's everything I could find.
That's cool though.
You like that one?
That's cool, like that one with them that got turned to stone.
Yeah. Similar. There's quite a lot of those where like it sounds really fantastical, but like no one's disputing it necessarily. No one's saying it didn't happen. It's just that no one really knows what happened.
Yeah, we've got no solid proof.
So,
mental.
There you go, Matt. That one's for you.
Thanks, Matt.
Hope you've enjoyed.
Brilliant.
And that brings us to the end.
That's it.
Of the podcast.
Wow, that was a good one. I enjoyed it.
What have I written here? Ooh, I don't know what that is. I've written mention Hi Miss Vu or Jai Miss Vu, and I don't know why I've written that. Let me Google it and see if it's important. I wrote it.
Your laptop might be haunted,
but I don't know what it.
Is your laptop haunted,
what
love?
it's about. Let me Google it. Oh, I remember what it is. Yeah, although I don't remember why I wrote it, but maybe I just wrote it because it was interesting. I'd never heard of it. You know, Deja Vu.
Yeah.
Jamis View or Yamis View or something is the reverse.
Never seen
in French. It's where something you've done regularly, and you suddenly have a feeling of like, oh, I've never done this before. I'm not sure.
That's cool.
It's called Jamis View. Maybe I just wrote it because that was interesting. Yeah. A feeling of unfamiliarity or a sense of eeriness.
Trying to think if that's ever happened to me.
I don't know why I wrote that. I don't know if it was relevant to a story, but that's interesting. So take that away. Do what you will with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I hope you've enjoyed this podcast.
I hope you've listened with your ears, both of them.
This is the spooky news for May 2025.
Woo!
That's everything that spooky happened. So if you missed any of that, it probably wasn't that spooky for you.
Was pretty spooky though, wasn't
It was pretty spooky, actually, to be honest with you, yeah. So, yeah, please like, comment, subscribe if you have been listening.
Check us out on the socials, you know.
Yeah, have a look at our TikTok.
Tickle tockle.
That's it.
That's it. That's that.
That's all of them, yeah. So,
Jolly
yeah,
good.
That's it. We'll see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.